Today on Rajshri Food, we are going to learn in this masterclass how not to assassinate the vegetables or any kind of food which you are cooking. Cooking is like a relationship that you agree with, right? While we are cooking food, we unknowingly waste a lot of nutrients. So let's learn in this entire process how to save the nutrients while you're cooking healthy. I don't know who needs to hear this, but someone has to stop boiling the vegetables. I get it that the urge of boiling the vegetables and everything, but do you know what are you doing with the vegetables? What you're doing is when you're boiling the vegetables, all the minerals and the water soluble vitamins are leaching out. And you think that you're eating healthy, but eventually you're eating just some colors, right? So instead of boiling, we need to have a different approach towards the replacement of boiling, and that's what we are going to do now. I have a very beautiful cooking technique which I'm going to explain. So let's start with this new technique of cooking instead of boiling, which can save your nutrients and which can make your life easy. I advocate a lot about this cooking technique which is called glazing, right? What is glazing? For example, when we are cooking these corns, what I do is I'm going to put the corns in the pan. I will just put enough water which remains in the bottom. I will add some salt and I will use some fat. I mean, you can use whatever fat you like. I am using flaxseed oil. Because you know what? Using right fat with the right vegetable is an art. Slowly and gradually we are going to learn that, but that's an incredible art, right? So this is how we glaze. We evaporate the entire water and your glazing is done. Cauliflower, when you're glazing, you need to put a little extra water because cauliflowers are harder to cook. Now, doing this, you have saved all the nutrients which earlier we were going to throw it away, right? So never glaze vegetables on a very, very low flame. See, flame plays a very important role when you're cooking. If you want to master the art of cooking, something you really need to control is the flame. You should know at what temperature you should be cooking the vegetables. Sometimes overcooking vegetables also is bad, but at some time, you need to cook the vegetables on a low flame, right? Once the vegetables cool down and they come to room temperature, under refrigeration, you can store it up to 5 to 7 days. In deep freezer, you can keep up to 3 months and they are really good. You can just thaw and consume it. Leaving fat alone on the pan is the biggest mistake what people do. You have left the fat for smoking and you're scrolling and you are looking here and there and you're just occupied elsewhere. This is not the right way. So do this instead. You put the vegetables first and then you pour the oil. By the way, how many of you are getting disturbed while I am not stirring the vegetables? I want one side to be cooked perfectly, nicely, like this. You need to have these kind of burn marks on the vegetables and the flame has to be the highest, as high as possible. A little fire like this, if you see, please don't call fire brigade. This is just a natural, normal process. And yes, it is something which is going to give you the smokiness to the vegetable. Remember, the crunch is important. You have to maintain the crunch. When you're cooking the vegetables on high flame, you are saving micronutrients. So yes, enjoy this beautiful cooking process. When it comes to cast iron cooking, you have to make sure that you are heating the pan nicely, right? And then you cook your green leafy vegetables, especially because cooking green leafy vegetables in the cast iron pan actually adds more nutritional benefits. So in this process of cooking the green leafy vegetables, you can apply this knowledge to any kind of green leafy vegetables which you're cooking. Point one, put the green leafy vegetable first and then you add the fat. Now here you see I have used a blend of olive oil and a little bit of butter because wherever there is fat, there is flavor. Cook it on a very high flame. Trust the process. Don't worry about it. It is not going to get burnt. Cook it on a high flame for a shorter time. This way, you can save all the micronutrients. Slow cooking process is good, but not for all kind of ingredients which you're cooking. So green leafy vegetables, cook it in this way. And one more thing, never ever put lid on when you're cooking the green leafy vegetables. Never put lid on it. Spread it in a plate and then once it cools down, You can make a paste or you can use it the way you want. You can mix it up with any kind of salads or anything, but please cook green leafy vegetables to get rid of any anti-nutrients. So correct nutrition is not only about you eating healthy. It's more about how are you cooking those healthy food. Right? In this entire episode, we have learned how to preserve nutrients, antioxidants, vitamins. Now, I hope you are going to implement these kind of new techniques and get benefited. Stay tuned with Rajshri Food. This is Chef Rahul Singh signing off. Thank you so much.